Hello, everyone. This is Lindsay Gasper, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator out of Mesa, Arizona. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel tonight. I have a very beautiful card, fun fold for you this evening. Don't be intimidated. I'm going to explain everything, and I will include all of the measurements in my description below. I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So, advanced crafters, you may not need to watch every bit of this. With the beginner crafters, you'll probably want to wait for me to walk you through all the way through. I do stamping and cutting on the paper trimmer, and I do have some little tips and tricks along the way. I'm going to be using the Splendid Thoughts stamp set and the coordinating die set. I had a wedding card that I had to make, and I think that this fits perfectly. I will admit that I have had this stamp set for a while, and I couldn't figure out really what to do with it. When I sat down to play, I wasn't really feeling inspired, and I did take a little bit of inspiration from a few of the other demonstrators that I do follow, and the template is an accordion fold, which I did not create, but I did follow. But the design itself is mine, and I am going to walk you through it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So without further ado, I'm going to flip the camera. All right. So this is it, you guys. So today is a day to remember, and then much love on your new life together. I think that this is perfect for a wedding. I think that the coloring could be used for, you know, if you're a friend of the bride or the groom, it doesn't matter which, it's really fitting. The color that I used is Mint Macaroon. And I will tell you, I do not use this color very often, but it is really pretty. So double accordion, again, going to have all the measurements in the video description below. So just sit back, enjoy, relax. This is the stamp set. We're going to be using these two images and then these two stamps. They are the rubber stamps. And then this is the coordinating die set that comes with it. Again, I will link everything below. So if you do want to purchase this set, that would really help me out in my online store. It does have an entire coordinating DSP with it. And that is one of the pieces that you see here and another piece that you see here. I think it's very, very elegant. So again, just so we're all on the same page, here we go. All right, I'm going to get right down to the cutting. For my card base, the measurement is going to be 5.5 by 11. And I'm going to use the cutting blade, which is the dark blue blade. Then I'm going to open up my little paper trimmer like this, like so. And I am going to score at 1 3/4. I'm going to use my little light gray blade right here. Give it a nice little score. And 3.5. 5 1/4. And 7. All right, so we're done with the card base. The little mini card, so that's what creates this. That's going to be 3 by 6. And since I already know that this is 3, I'll just show you. That's actually the piece that you cut apart. So you only need one piece of cardstock here. So I think it's a really nice use of paper. Okay, and then I'm going to score at 3. Okay. Now I'm going to be cutting my designer series paper down. let's see if I can use this piece. So these pieces that I'm cutting down, they're going to go right here. We're going to cut down 4 of them. And that measurement is 1.5 by 5 1/4. And I already have this from the other card that I made. So I'm trying to use up this paper the best that I can. I will admit that I am not the best at using up my paper very thoughtfully, sometimes a little bit wasteful even. So actually, because this has a little ladybug on it, I think you can see, I will tell you, I don't really care for that. So I am just going to go ahead and cut a different piece because I want to be happy with it. And if it means I waste just a tiny bit, I'm okay with it because overall the product, I'm going to be happy in the end result. But I know already that I can get 2 out of this. So that's my 1.5. And then my next cut is 5 1/4. And I need 2 of these, and I'm going to see if I can cut this down without getting too much. So there again, I have the ladybug in there, which I'm not really a big fan of. So I'm just going to cut down another piece. And I know not everybody would notice, but that's not really the point. The point is, you know, this is my design and I want to be really happy with it. Okay. So now I'm going to, I do know that I need another piece of this designer series paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut that down right away since I've just got it handy. And that measurement is going to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, so then that fits nicely right here for this layer. And I do know that I need another box that matches, another green layer that matches the same size because I want this to be nice and layered up. So you see here, that's what gives that real nice dimension. And again, it's going to be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So these 2 boxes, these 2 pieces of paper, they're the same size. All right, so next, we're done with our macaroon and we're also done with our designer series paper. So we're going to move on to our white pieces. Right away, I know that I'm not going to need this anymore, so I'm just going to collapse this down so it's just a little easier to work on my workspace. So I need 2 more pieces that fit here and here. And then I'm going to need another piece to go here and then another piece here. So we're going to cut all of that down. So trying to use my paper thoughtfully again, I am going to just cut the 1.5 piece, the 1.5 by 5 1/4 piece first, because I know that I can get 2 out of that. And then I just have a little piece that I'm just going to put in the scrap bin. And then it's always good to check to make sure that these are really fitting nice, which they are. Okay. The next one that I'm going to do is I'm going to do this piece here. And that is going to measure 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. I'm sure you can see the trend because it's all 5 1/4. The only from here to here. So the only measurement that's changing are these ones. And then this measurement changes here because you have to accommodate for the sizing here. So I'm just going to do 3 3/4 here by 5 1/4 here. Again, we're going to lay it down just so that you can see this being kind of put together nicely. Okay. So the final layer in my mini little card is going to be 2.5 by 2.5. So we're working in quarters. That's really how it is. When you go up, when you want to go up 1/8 all the way around, you go up 1/4. so you have to accommodate for the two sides. Something that I will admit took me a little bit of time to really kind of get drilled into my mind, because how often do people use measuring? Not super often, I don't think. Okay, so that's it. That is it for the cutting. This is my little notes. You don't have to screenshot it. Again, gonna put it on on the video description, so don't worry about it. I'm gonna bring in a little scrap piece of paper just to protect my workspace, and I'm gonna move this over just a little bit so that it's not distracting. So I'm gonna open up my little mint macaron. Okay. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do these two pieces here and here. So this is two-step stamping, but it's like two-step stamping in the best, most easy way. These two pieces is what we're going to be using. They do not fit together. They were not made to fit together. It is supposed to be very artistic, and it's supposed to just give it, just a, kind of almost like a mimic of it, I feel like. But, as you can see, this is not, it doesn't match, and it's not supposed to match either. I just love this design. I really, really love it. Okay, so here's a tip when you're creating your own DSP. Don't be too fussy about it. It's not supposed to be perfect. So I find when I'm doing this, I'm going to start off the page. So boom. And then I'm going to go here and here, and then there. Okay. Now I'm going to not do the same exact thing on this other one because I don't want it to look exactly the same. Okay, so we're done with that one. We're done with these at least. Now I'm going to stamp this here. This is something I do on almost all of my inserts. Huh, well, wouldn't you know? That's just the way the cookie crumbles, you guys. It'll come off. I'm not worried about it. Okay. And then I'm going to do another one up here because I think that that's just really finishes it. Okay. So now I'm going to start with my insides. All right. So you see, I'm really not being too careful with this. It's not supposed to be that way. Okay, and then I'm just going to flip it around just for ease. You always want to flip your paper, not your hand. That's a good kind of rule to remind yourself of. So if you're flipping your hand around like this, I'm sure you can imagine you're not going to get that great of a stamp. So you want to make it easy for yourself, as easy as you can. All right. You see how easy that was? It's just that's just really, really pretty. It's soft and elegant and timeless. Okay, so for the front, I did something called stamping off. And stamping off means that I'm going to use the second generation of the ink. I will show you. Okay, one stamp into the ink pad, one onto the paper. That is called first generation stamping. When you do stamp onto the paper and then stamp off again, that is the second generation of ink. And that is what I have used for the front. So you can see when you look here, this is much lighter than this is. So stamp off, stamp off, stamp off, stamp off. All right. Now I'm going to stamp my sentiment, and I'm going to stamp it in full strength first generation ink. And it's always a good idea. I'm going to flip this over just so that we're not competing here. It's a good idea to just stamp off your page and not on your project, because you get a good feel of the stamp. Now I'm going to move this just a little bit closer to me because it's just a little bit less of a reach, and then I'll move it back closer to the camera. Okay, so that turned out really nice. And I'm going to do this insert now. And I'm going to follow the same rule. I'm going to stamp off my project just to get a good feel for it. Especially if you haven't really worked with the stamps too much, like I haven't. I think I mentioned earlier in the video, I think this is the first time that I've really pulled this out to play with it and actually created something with it, aside from the first project here, to demonstrate what I was going to make. I'm going to let it rest in the paper a little bit just so that the ink can absorb it. Okay, so we are done with the stamping and with the cutting. So now this is going to go together really quickly. I'm just going to move this aside, and I'm going to wipe this down. Don't worry, guys. It's water-based ink. It'll come out. Okay, I'm going to move this over. And I'm going to start here. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to use my Stampin Seal, which is a great product. You can certainly use liquid glue as well if you feel like you need more time to place them. I'm pretty confident with this because I've made this card before. So I don't necessarily know that I'm going to do the liquid glue route. I'm just going to use my seal, my runner tape, just because it saves a little bit of time too. And just as a reminder, I will link all of the product that I used into the video description below. And if you do not have it and you don't have a demonstrator and you would like this suite, you know, give my online store a look and see if there's anything that interests you. The borders are 1/8 of an inch. So that's kind of, if you're, okay with measurements and you feel like you can eyeball it, that's what the measurement is. It's 1/8 of an inch all the way around. We're going to go on all 4 corners, or excuse me, all 4 edges. You don't want to cheap out on the ink, on the glue, excuse me, because your projects will fall apart. All right. Now we're going to do this one. Again, we're going on all four edges. And this paper is not directional and it's a square, so you don't have to worry about putting it on any certain way. Same for this one. Again, all squares. And then to give it some extra pop, I did go ahead and cut down a little piece of my foam sheet. If you guys have seen any of my other videos, you know this is one of my most favorite products. You can absolutely use dimensionals too. You do not have to use the foam adhesive. I just think it's easy. Okay. Isn't that nice with that dimension there? I think it's great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fold this down. I'm sure you took notice that none of this was folded yet, and that's with reason, because it's easier to assemble your project when it's not folded. So I often do my folding last. Okay, now this is where kind of the magic happens. Okay, so we're gonna go mountain, valley, mountain, valley. And then we're gonna just score, excuse me, not score. We're gonna reinforce these scores or fold marks. We're gonna go on every single one. And I'm gonna go on the front and the back. Because this is a fun fold, it's really important that all of these folds are really, really enforced nicely. Okay, so this is how this is going to go together. So when the card is flat, it's going to look like this. So to do this, I am going to use a little bit of a stronger adhesive. And it's going to be my Stampin Seal Plus. So it is the dark blue one. I'm going to show you just for comparison so you can see. Okay, so it's the dark blue, and it's a much stronger adhesive, and that's just because it's holding our card together. So I think this is pretty close to where I want it. So I'm just going to open this up here. I'm going to hold my hand over here. And then I'm going to run a line of adhesive if it's going to work for me, which who knows, you know, when it's on camera. Okay. So I'm just going to make sure now, because it kind of gave me a little bit of an attitude. I'm just going to make sure that this is going to be in the right place before I tack it down. Okay. Now I'm going to open it over here, leave this flat, and I'm going to just put some adhesive on this end. I'm going to close it over here like so. Okay, then I'm going to lay this down here. That's going to catch my adhesive. And then boom, we're done. Okay, so that's from the top. This is from the front. So it's going to stand up and it's going to look just like that. All right. So that's it, you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed my card today. I think it came out really pretty. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would be happy to help. If you would like to purchase this set, please hit my online store. I would really appreciate that. And if you liked my video, go ahead and give me a little bit of a like and hit that little notification button so that you know when I post a video next time. Take care, you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.